Bing, 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 bing. Another episode. Welcome back, viewers, Trailblazers. I'm not the CSL Trailblazer, and we're doing it again. I love it. In this episode, we are talking about competition. I love competition. My quote for today, let's get right into it immediately. Believing that your competition is stronger and better than you pushes you to better yourselves. Do you agree with that? What do you think? Get your students talking about it, okay? Get them giving you examples. How can it be used as a metaphor? What are the situations where that applies? Who feels like they're in competition? Who feels like they're not in competition? The reality of the situation is that we're probably feeling like we're in competition in many different aspects of our lives, and not only when we're doing a sport and we're actually in a proper competition where a winner is being determined. But we feel it in our everyday lives when we're trying to get the best grades in school, or we're trying to get the girl or the boy that we think likes somebody else, and we want them to choose us as their date. Romantic relationships, basically, right? And other situations may be connected with strength, may be connected with status, all right? Let's talk about the language connected with this word today, right after this message. Bing! All right, without further ado, let's get right into it. I'm keeping it short and sweet today because, as you can imagine, it's only one word, but it has quite a bit of collocations, and the collocations that go with this word are perfect. So let's do it. Cutthroat competition. Ferocious competition. Intense competition. Fierce and stiff competition. All those words, synonyms for when competition is really, really high. Okay, so you can rewind and play those words again, all right? They all mean that the competition is very high. Is there a difference? Very subtle between some of these words, but otherwise, not really, okay? If it's cutthroat and ferocious, we're probably also adding this element that there could be consequences to losing. Okay, so I don't know, if you don't get that job, that it was your dream job, then it will be hard for you to find a position that's similar someplace else or in a company of that status, okay? Or you might be considered a loser, like your status might drop significantly if you lose because it's very public. All right, so ferocious and cutthroat, meaning in entrepreneurship or in business, that if you don't win the competition, you might lose all your money, you might go bankrupt. So there's these consequences, okay? Whereas in other situations where there's no consequences, there's just the heartbreaking loss or the loss in general. It's not so bad. That's all. Let's move on. Now, when you want to encourage competition, you can use the word encourage, or you can use intensify or sharpen. If you want to discourage it, you stifle, or you harm, or you inhibit it. Stifle, excellent word. Okay, if you stifle development, you stifle competition, you're doing something that indirectly is slowing it down or preventing it from happening at its full force. Okay, the next collocation of words that go with competition are the word competitive. All right, and one of these is my favorite, one of my favorite combination of words. Okay, so we got competitive pressure, we got competitive position, we got competitive price, competitive threat, competitive advantage or edge. That's my favorite one. And competitive strategy, which we'll be talking about in an episode coming up soon. Okay, so competitive advantage and edge, my favorite one. What does it mean? It means, what do you have that's superior to all your competition in whatever context that you want to think about. Okay, so what's your competitive advantage? What's your competitive edge? You go into a job interview and you get asked, what can you offer us that nobody else has? What is your competitive edge? You got to know what that is as an individual. You got to be able to tell people who are interviewing you what you have that nobody else has. Okay, an easy example to put this in context is me as a native speaker in Poland. That's one of my competitive advantages, one of my competitive edges. It doesn't mean that I'm necessarily a more knowledgeable teacher than the Polish teachers. Some of them are fantastic. and I've met them. There's a lot of them that are great, actually. However, I got an advantage, or I got an edge, because I'm a native speaker that's lived and grown up in the country that spoke English, and they don't have that. And some people want that, so that gives me an edge. That's only one example, but there can be another one connected with knowledge, connected with skills, connected with your communicative soft skill abilities, all right? Look for it, find it. What do companies have that gives them the competitive edge? Great speaking topic, fantastic English speaking fluency practice. Thank you very much. Now, competitive price means that your price is lower and maybe better than your competition, all right? Which means people want to go and buy. If you say that they have very competitive prices, you want to go and look and see what those prices are and maybe buy yourself, okay? Whether it's a hotel room or a vacation or grocery store, okay? If you have a competitive position, that means you're in a position where you're competing. You're in a position that's quite high, okay? If you're a competitive threat, I think it's clear. If you have a competitive strategy, I think that's clear too, but we were talking about that very soon in another episode. What's the last collocation group that goes with competitive? Competing. Competing bids, competing technologies, competing offerings, and competing suppliers. I don't need to describe all of these words because you can easily check them, but the one that I'll focus on here is the bids. Okay, if you got competing bids, a bid means that you make an offer to a project saying how many resources it requires and how much it's going to cost you. If the company that's looking for offers for you to do something, build them some kind of website or a bridge, they like your bid, or your bid is very close to what others are offering, then this is a competing bid. Okay, that's a bid. You make a bid on eBay if you use it, all right? Competing technologies, I think it's clear. Technologies that are competing with each other and that consumers want to buy and use, okay? Maybe they're a little bit different. They don't offer always the same, but they're competing with each other because clearly, statistically, it shows that some people want X and other people want Y, okay? Some people want a smartphone, others just want a basic phone, or they don't want maybe the same features that other phones might offer, okay? So, that's generally what it is. I don't want to keep you. That's all. Competition. Fantastic topic. You can put those words into nice exercises to introduce to your students and then encourage them to talk about different aspects of competition in their lives. What's your competitive edge? Think about it and leave a message in the notes, in the comments. I'm curious what you think. Share if you care, and I'll see you back here for another episode. It's going to be a good one.